The organization Undoing Tax Abuse has exposed how nearly 14 billion rand of taxpayers' money has been funding political parties. Let's get some details around this now with Wayne Duvenage, who is with Outa. Thank you so much for making time, Mr. Duvenage. So what's happening here? How much money are we talking about?
Well, I don't think it's any secret, and it's not necessarily illegal. But what we're starting to find is when you start looking into the detail of this, there are some big anomalies and concerns and questions that have to be asked. So the first one is we're talking about 14 billion, and if you go back 13 years ago to the start of the fourth parliament sitting in 2010, you'll find that political parties were given just over 600 million rand through three channels, essentially. Home Affairs through the Electoral Commission, and that's about 12%. The next big one is Parliament. They give about 35%. But the big issue here, and those are generally controlled and they increase around CPI, but the big problem is in the provincial legislature, which allocates of this total revenue about 53% to political parties from the provincial legislatures, and this amount is all over the place. It differs by province. For instance, Gauteng has increased this amount over the last 13 years by an average of 45% per annum. You know, they've gone from 22 million rand allocated to political parties to in 2010 to 150 million. And when you compare that to the Western Cape, which was also 22 million rand in 2010, that's only gone up by an average of 9% per annum, and recently at 49%. So why does Gauteng dish out 150 million rand now to political parties, funding them, when the Western Cape only gives 49 million rand? There's a problem here, and there's no transparency, there's no accountability, and there's no explanation as to what are the rules and why is there no equity in this process.
But why is there no explanation? I mean, if this is our money as taxpayers, surely we deserve some answers on how it's being spent. There must be some accountability.
Yes, we absolutely do, Clement. And this is why when we started digging, and the digging started when we started asking questions, you know, these MPs go on these long these breaks to get to their constituencies, there's constituency breaks where they're supposed to engage with with the citizens. Well, we started to try and find out where are these constituency officers, because Parliament and government is handing a lot of money to political parties to manage these constituency engagement officers. And lo and behold, we found a handful. There's supposed to be every MP reporting back to their constituencies available to do so throughout the country, and that's not the case. And then we started to find out, well, you're getting a lot of money. Can you tell us and show us how this money is spent? Who's accountable for it? What's it going to be spent on? And we cannot find any information, or very little information. So now we're starting to ask questions, and the more we dig and the more we analyze, we see all these discrepancies. Why does, for instance, KZN have a similar amount of money that is paid over to political parties that happens in Gauteng? Why does Limpopo, by the way, have a similar amount of money distributed to political parties to Gauteng? The population sizes are very different, so there's a lot of unanswered questions.
So should there be a rethink of this fund?
Yeah, absolutely, especially through provincial legislatures. We need to have an understanding of what is the percentage, why is there no parity, what are the rules that govern this handout to political parties, and why are there these discrepancies. So we need rules, we need transparency, and we need a lot of answers. And I think Parliament and Treasury, because this amount of money that is being allocated to political parties in the legislatures, the provincial legislatures, is money that is given to the provinces from Treasury. Your and my tax money is given to them, and there are no rules as to how much, seemingly there are no rules as to how much is being divvied out to political parties. What are the various political parties getting? So yeah, this is our money that, again, is being, there's a lot of maladministration here, we believe.
Yeah, isn't the Political Funding Act helping with accounting for these monies from the public purse? Or does that just deal with private monies?
That's more dealing with private money, where we need to get transparency as to how political parties are funded through donations from the private sector or other donors. But this is government money we're talking about. This is money that has been given through 3 different channels to the political parties to, of course, we understand that government, there is a right and a need to give money to political parties based on their proportional representation so that they can manage themselves. They've got administration to run in that. But this seems excessive. It has gone up substantially from a total average of just over 600 million 13 years ago to now 1.4 billion rand every year. And it differs by province. So this doesn't make sense, actually.